Okay, so Netflix just posted the official trailer for Squid Game Season 3, and let me just say, it is jam-packed with brand new information that we need to know about Squid Game Season 3. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
하나, 둘, 셋.
The trailer starts off with someone walking with blood coming from what looks to be their foot. So people originally thought this was from the fifth game because lots of the details from the teaser trailer pointed towards the game being with one person with a key and one with a knife. So someone thought the blood was from the knife and they were walking through the game. But with this new information, it seems that someone opened up a door with the key and it led straight to the next game. So that's what I'm guessing happened. So now that we know what the fifth game is, the next scene just happens to show exactly what the sixth game is. Here we see what we saw at the end of Season 2 of Squid Game, which is a game with two dolls, and at first people were very confused and they didn't have a straight answer of what it was, but now we finally got a straight answer. It shows what the game is later in the trailer, so I'm just gonna go over it then. This is the next scene.
왜 날 안 죽였어? 왜 나만 살려둔 거야?
This scene gives us some new information because based off of people breaking down the teaser trailer, we saw that there seems to be two different voting scenes in Squid Game Season 3. One right after the rebellion and one after the fifth game. So, and in the voting scene, after what seems to be the fifth game, we see Gion tied to a bed. And since he was screaming here, it explains why he was tied up. They probably prevented him from voting because he was, acting crazy. We then see the frontman, and I'm guessing he's looking at a screen because that's what he usually does. And the scene just happens to show up right after Gion is getting put on the floor by the red guards. Now, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it seem like he was looking at Gion during that scene, but I actually think it's from a different scene, because in the teaser trailer, it looked like he was crying. So I think this is from a totally different scene. Now we get a way clearer view of the fifth game, which is the key and knife game. So here we see a group of blue vest members walking together, and they're all in the same room. So my guess is that they get released first, and they try searching around to find the keyhole, and then the red people with the red vests end up following behind them, so the blue vest people get a head start, and then they try hunting them down. Now, at first, the scene may look a little bit confusing, but it's probably just a part of the room that we see in the next scene. Here we see the shaman lady directing the blue vest players on which path to go, the right path or the left path. So I think my guess was right on the keyhole game, because I think she's trying to, guess which path they should go to find, where it is, because if they don't, then they'll get hunted down. Here we could see the voting scene happening, so it's not really clear who's voting, and I would say Gion, because the hand looks like an old person's hand, but I don't think this is the case, because based off of what we've seen in the trailer so far, we can assume that in the first voting scene, Gion gets, he was saying, why did you let me live and stuff, and then he got pushed to the floor. And then we know in the second voting scene, he was tied to the bed. So I'm assuming that he was not the one voting in that scene. This scene is so important because it finally shows us what the sixth game is. Now, the sixth game looks to be something similar to jump rope, so we could see the doll from red light, green light holding a rope, and then it seems to be spinning around, and then people have to jump. Now, based off of us seeing people falling from it, I assume it gets faster every time, or it just keeps on going and going until people get tired, which is a pretty interesting game to be playing. And I'm pretty sure when that light turns green, that means that the rope's moving. Now, this seems interesting because this is the exact same elevator that the people playing Squid Game were in during the tug-of-war game. So, it's kind of weird to see Squid Game guards in that same elevator. So, I'm not really sure what it could be there, but I guess we'll just have to find out. This further proves my point that the sixth game is jump rope.
뭐 하는 거야?
인 게임하지.
Now, the character that Gion is talking to is someone that we have not seen in the show just yet, but what I'm assuming he's doing is something similar to what Songwoo did in Season 1, which is, like, basically sabotaging other people in the games in order for him to win. So I'm assuming Gion's asking, what are you doing? Because Gion's trying to help everyone get the fairest chance possible. Now, I'm pretty sure the frontman is actually looking at Gion in the scene, but that's not what I'm going to be going over. What I'm going to be going over is what is in the background of where Gion is walking. This seems to be the fifth game based off of the background that we see in the scene. Now, I'm a bit confused of what is behind him in that scene, but it seems that it might be a door because the wall seems to be, like, blocked off. This part's quite important because we could see that the old lady, in the second season of Squid Game, we saw that she held a knife in her ponytail and she always had her hair up because of that. But in this scene, we see that her hair is down, which infers that she probably took it out either to protect herself in that game or to give it to her son. We also see her asking for them to stop the games, and she looks very sad, and also in the teaser trailer we saw her crying, which from that we can infer that her son died. We can also see a pink guard pointing a gun at Gion, and this seems to be the entrance of the jump rope game because earlier in the trailer we saw a bunch of players walking into the game, and this is the same background we saw earlier. Here we can see the hexagon table that we saw earlier, which is where the VIPs eat and sit. Now we can see multiple screens hanging from the ceiling in a hexagon shape that also matches the table shape. Here we get a better look at the fifth game, and we could also see green doors in some places, which also proves my point of the game being the key and knife game. Now this scene is very important because we could see MG Coin talking to Hyunju and saying, what are you going to do, just sit here and die, which is important because Hyunju is actually pregnant. So it seems like she just wants to sit there because, you know, she's pregnant at first, but he doesn't want her to die. He's trying to motivate her to not give up, in a way. This is probably one of my strongest pieces of evidence pointing towards the key and knife game because we could clearly see someone trying to put a key in a keyhole right here, and then clearly it doesn't work, and then he's banging the door, which obviously is because he's probably getting hunted down by somebody with a knife. Now, based off of the red and blue lights shining on Gion's face, we can assume this is during the first voting scene, because we saw in the first voting scene, Gion gets pushed to the floor, so we can assume that he says, "Why'd you let me live?" He grabs the gun, which we just saw, and then they push him to the floor. Now, here we see Junhee, and he seems to be in the room that the frontman is in usually, because it is all black. Here we see the shaman lady banging on a door, and we can assume that her key also got stuck in the hole and it's not opening. Now, based off of all the players we saw in the background and the yellow on the floor, we know that this is in the room with the gumball machine where your vest color gets randomly chosen. Now, if you didn't believe me before, this literally shows him opening the door after he put the key in the hole of the door. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This took a pretty long time to make because I had to split every single part of this trailer, and this trailer had a lot in it. And if you guys would like some more commentary videos like this, please just like or subscribe or comment, do whatever. Anyways, have a good day and see you later.